listened to this song a few times yesterday, and Ken Richards is on the line. Let me say good morning to you, Ken. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm great. You?
Love from Dominica. I'm great, and you?
Okay.
Okay, Ken. It's rather an interesting song. I listened to it yesterday, and I actually fell in love with it one time. Let me just congratulate you, Ken, on a wonderful song, well written. And I want you to tell me more about Pound Off. Tell me, what is Pound Off?
Okay, it's actually called Carrot's Pound of Flesh.
Right. Explain what is carrot pound of
And
flesh.
basically, it looks at the situation that Dominica is in. Poor country, not having resources, so the Prime Minister goes out to get resources wherever he can. He's doing a very good job of that. But the fact is, nobody gives anybody anything for free these days. So there is a cost whether you look at it that way or not. And this is what Pound of Flesh is referring to. In essence, it talks about the Chinese help that Dominica is getting. It talks about the Venezuelan help that Dominica is getting. So, for example, in the Chinese case, it talks about the stadium that we've received, the highway that the Chinese are building. But are we getting that for free? We have to support the one China policy. Is China a democratic country? Not necessarily. Dominica is democratic. But we have to toe the Chinese line. Same thing in Venezuela's case when it talks about ALBA and it talks about Sucre will be the new currency. The ALBA countries were talking about a currency to trade and they were talking about the Sucre. Because Dominica is part of ALBA, does it get involved in that? So it's that kind of thing.
All right. How is the song received by the Dominican community in London?
It's a new song. I haven't really published it. I just made it available last week to the local radio stations in Dominica. It's actually part of a new project that I'm working on. I have a number of new songs that I'm working on, and those that are, by the way, my son Malcolm Chapa, he's helping with the music. He does most of the music. I just send on the demo to him, and he sends back up the music, and I put on the lyrics and some of the little bits and pieces and so. So it's part of a new project. I have a song, an instrumental called Rejuvenation that is actually on my Facebook page already as a picture-led video. I have another song I'm working on called On the Manners Again, and this one refers to domestic violence and sexual violence against young people and the predators and what should be done with them and what should not be done with them. So it's part of an ongoing effort.
All right, Ken. In the song, you mentioned that the oil refinery is next. We know that this has brought about controversy in Dominica. As a seasoned journalist, why did you choose to include this in the song as a compliment to the Prime Minister?
But this is not a seasoned journalist, you see. This is a calypso writer. You have to wear different hats at certain times. And it's not meant as a compliment. If you listen to it very carefully, it is not meant as... The song is actually a very cynical song. So it says... if you listen to it, you will hear sometimes where you think praise is being given. It's actually a criticism if you assess it properly. And sometimes where you think the Prime Minister is being criticized, it's actually praised. So it's a funny song in that regard.
All right, so you're not only bashing, but you...
Well, I don't believe in bashing. I mean, I'm trying to look at the situation, exaggerated sometimes because it's a calypso and you have poetic license kind of thing. But I'm trying to look at a real situation and look at the concerns and putting it in perspective.
All right. How would you describe the production of this song compared to what you've done in the past?
Well, for me, it's just an ongoing effort. I like music. I like writing calypsos and other types of music. So I always try to do it the best that I can, and hope for the best, essentially.
All right. So, what would you say to the ordinary man in the street who probably doesn't understand what this song is about?
This song is essentially trying to put in perspective the Dominican situation. Look, we don't have resources. We're trying to get resources. We have a leader who's apparently very good at that, but we, the country, may have to think that there's a pound of flesh coming behind this. We may have to pay at some stage. And if you listen to the very last bit of the song, that is what it refers to. It also tries to look at some of what is happening today. There's a line that says, He's our brother, French passport do matter. I don't know if you've heard those beats and so on. It's just trying to put in perspective what is happening in Dominica. And I have to say, actually, I started kind of late last year trying to write a few calypsos for Dominica's 2010 calypso season, but I started pretty late. And although I was in touch with some calypsonians close to the election time, I had to go to Miami on assignment because the BBC was doing a Creole program for Haiti as part of the relief efforts and so on. So that all of that got sidetracked. So after I came back, I decided to work on the songs anyway and put them out. I might put them out as a CD.
All right. Well, okay. You said that it is not really a compliment to the Prime Minister. Do you think that this is going to bring about controversy?
Well, the intention is not to bring about controversy, but to have people think a little. And I'm not saying it's complimentary about the Prime Minister or it's not complimentary. It has different lyrics in it, and some of it may be complimentary, some of it may not be. It's up to the listener to listen and pull from it what you can.
All right. Tell us more about the Sucre, because you mentioned that in the song that Sucre will be next, I think.
Yeah. Well, I sort of hinted at that earlier. I don't know if you know that the ALBA countries, those countries that are members of the Bolivarian Association being led by Venezuela, they had a meeting some time ago and they decided to adopt the Sucre, which is a currency, as a currency to trade. And of course, when those things happen, people get a little worried, a little excited. We have the EC dollar, and it's part of the Eastern Caribbean currency. And people may be saying, "Are we going to change over from the Eastern Caribbean dollar to the Sucre?" Although that may not necessarily be practical, but people think about those things and people worry about those things. So that is why Sucre is in there. Sucre will be the next currency. Is being very cynical. Just like saying, you get so much of my largesse, the oil refinery will be next. That is very cynical as well.
All right, Ken, do you intend to continue writing?
Until I die, until I can't anymore.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I have to big up my son, Malcolm Chapa. I don't know if he's given you guys any of his music, but he also is working on a CD. I think it was meant to be a carnival CD as well. He has some really nice songs. Do Let Me Go is one of them. Carnival is another one. I love this carnival song very much. If you guys don't have it, please tell Chapa to pass it on to you so you can play it as well.
All right, Ken. When do we expect to see Ken on the big stage in Dominica? Maybe not competing, but just performing.
Big stage. I passed by performances long ago. In my younger days, I used to be in a band called Widdies, okay. and that was in the Naked Fit era. So that's going back quite a few years. I write and I still try to sing. I don't think my voice is as good as it used to be anymore, but I still try to do a little singing. I prefer to write to let other people sing, but sometimes I do my thing as well,
So will you write me a calypso next year if I intend to go on the stage and sing?
I can. I can try at least.
All right, Ken, before we wrap up, maybe you can just, for those persons who probably just tuned into Kairi and didn't hear, maybe you can just tell them again what the song Scary Pound of Flesh is all about again.
Scary Pound of Flesh talks about the situation in Dominica, but primarily the Prime Minister's efforts to get resources for the country. But the song is asking, is there a cost to be paid? Maybe later rather than sooner, but a cost anyway. That in essence is the song.
Do you have any CDs on sale at the moment? No?
Not yet. I have an album I put out last September, Bracken and Friends. We've been chapified, but I haven't really sent it down to Dominica. I have copies, but I haven't really sent it down. I might send it down soon, but this Scary thing is a new project altogether.
All right, then. Well, thank you so much, and wish you good luck in writing. I hope that you can write me a calypso so I can...
Oh, yes. I just wanted to say one more thing. Everybody know Ken Richards as a journalist, so maybe when you play in the song, say Bracken, man. That is my stage. That is my stage name, although I don't perform on stage.
But we need to see you on the big stage, Ken, so you have to, book your flight.
You'll see my son. Look for Caribbean Vibes, and you will see Chapa playing the keyboard.
I want to see Ken. I want to see
New
Ken
generation.
So you can book your flight for Calypso next year. You have enough time to do that, Ken.
I used to be a Calypsonian at once.
All right, well, take care. What's the time in London now?
The time in London is 4:45 in the afternoon, in the evening.
Okay. Well, do enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Thank
And
you
hope
very
to speak
much.
with you again. All right then. Bye.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.